morning to everybody. And for the people that are watching in the replay, hello to you. Thank you for tuning in today. All right, let's build something. There we go. There we go. Figure out what I'm gonna do. Let's see what we got. Let's do it again. I can get a little better than that. Good morning, everybody jumping on. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate all of them. Y'all want to go ahead and give a thumbs up. Also, let me know where you're watching from. That's always great. Top of the morning, Miss Tanya. All right. Let's see what that felt like. Alright, let's put something other up on there. Man, it's cold this morning. It's hard to get stuff out this morning. Western Oklahoma, good morning to you, John. Mobile, Alabama. Melvin, good morning, man. Sabine from Nepal, good morning to you. Alan, what's up, man? Yes, sir. Yeah, we're just trying to get it in. Skarabi, good morning to you. Thank you guys for tuning in. T, good morning to you. All right, let's see here what I got. I can do a better take. Let's see. Let's try it again. With that particular sound, I want to end with that chord. wasn't it. All right, one more time. One more time. I forgot. Played the wrong chord. Sorry, John. Keep forgetting the last chord. I think I can punch that in though. It was a good take up to that point. Clean something right quick. Let's try that again. And I'll punch that last chord. I don't want to do that whole take over again. So we keep it moving. That's it. Cool. Natalie, good morning to you. All right. Kath, who is that? Scarabi says, where's your bass? It's back there. I'm getting to it. Let me see here. Corey, good morning to you. Kath Rod, Portugal. Thank you for watching this morning. Tanya says, sounding good. Appreciate you letting us watch your creative process. Absolutely. Thank y'all for being here. It's Tuesday. Been looking forward to this. Wow. Thank you, Floppy. I appreciate that. Dustin Turner, good morning from Macon, Georgia. Macon in the house this morning. Thank y'all for joining in. Yeah, I'm trying to. It's crazy. I literally been creating music all week, so you would think there'd be like music overload right now, but I thank God that it's not. I'm still kind of, the wheels are turning, so I'm super happy about that. But it's like I've been trying to finish up some things, finish the year out strong. So between recording sessions and tracking guitar and bass and stuff for people, and then recording my own session stuff, it's been a lot, a lot of stuff. I'm working on some new things. You'd be excited about this. I'm working on some new things for the website that I'm super excited about, but it's been a lot of work that I've been doing. So yeah, but no music overload. I'm not proclaiming that. It's music, whatever the opposite of that in a good way. Yeah, that's what it is. So let's find some synth stuff, some synth lead. You know how we do. We build a track, have a little fun with it, and we're gonna talk about some other things. So let's see. Let's see here. I think I know what I want to use. I think I know what sound I want to use. So we'll keep this moving pretty quickly. Right, there we go. Adjust this a little bit. Let me adjust this just a little bit. Cool. that again. It can be better. It can be better. Miss my count here. One more time. See what that felt like in context. Alright, let's add some drums, some live feeling drums up under that, and see if we can bring a little bit more life to it before I put bass on it. Everybody feeling all right this morning? Good morning, Tiffany. Greg's Bass World. Good morning, Greg. Athens, Georgia. You're not too far away, Greg. Paul, good afternoon to you. He said good afternoon from Durban, South Africa. Still looking for you to do some stuff African island style. I'm working my way around to it, man. I'm getting to it. Thank you, Paul. Dustin, I think I spoke to you already, but good morning again to you if I didn't. All right, so let's see here. What to do with the drums? That's a good question. Let's see what works. This is all new, so we'll figure it out as we go. Let's go ahead and loop that the full time so I can get a real feel for it. Bring these drums up a little bit more. All right, here we go. Let's try it. Let's go in the red. If you're not ready, go in the red anyway. We'll figure it out. One more time. I think I might have crashed at the beginning. It'll work for now. It's scratch drums. I'll go back and y'all know. I don't have to explain it to y'all. You've been here a while. You know how it goes. All right. So he asked where the bass was. Here's the bass. Let's see if we can do something that we like. You know, I'm thinking about guitar, but I don't know yet. Let's add the bass. Let's add the glue. Let's add the glue. See if we can make it feel good. And then we'll move on and see what we want to do beyond that point. All right. If I can untangle my strap here. All right, so. implement some bass in here, see what feels good. I'll probably do a couple of ideas to see what I like the best. The thump a little bit more. What do y'all think? You think the finger style or the thumping? Which one are you liking better? The approach. I'll do it again and I'll do both. I'll start with the thumping and then I'll go finger style and let me know which one you're feeling the most with this track. All right, we're just having fun. So it looks like the majority of everybody is saying finger. All right, so let's go back. Finger style. Floppy says needs more cowbell. Personally, I like the finger style. I bet that bass costs more than my truck. I love that body style. I'm kind of Davey 504 slap bass. So we got one slap bass, finger style. But John goes back, he says, honestly, you're killing it with both styles. I appreciate it, man. So it's just one of those things. It's like, even when you're creating, you know, what I would normally do, probably what I would do with this track is I would do a take with both. And after I get all the elements in there, see what feels the best. And because in some sections you might get away with either or. And if I were playing this song live, like in a church, whatever setting, or wherever I found myself playing this type of groove, I would probably go back and forth from finger to thumping, depending on the intensity of the song. Yeah, because I agree that to me it sounds straight with either or. You know, it matters what you're trying to get across. Combo of both. Yep, that's what I'm saying. I think either or works. You're not gonna go wrong with either or as long as it feels good and as long as everything is like kind of meshing or gelling together. You should be good. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and record something. All of that plan, I didn't record anything. So I think I'll do finger style for recording. All right, just for now. If I want to go back and change it, we will. But for now, I'll just go ahead and record a finger style. I can do it better. Let's go. Cool. do that when you're doing versus doing it, because that thumb has the tendency to want to get hung. I guess if I do it back here over the pickup as opposed to, because you got more room to dig up here than you do back here. And that's normally why I'm doing that thumb picking. But up here, you might get hung a little quick. Let's see here. Let me go back. So, wow, that's nice. New bass player in my church. That's nice, man. New bass player in my church. Also, you're saying you're a new bass player, Lord Bard. You're saying you're a new bass player at your church. Good deal. Congratulations on that. He says the tone you get beyond the 12th fret, no man's land. It's awesome. Just punches through the mixer. Well, thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Dustin said, man, you jamming with that track. I just like to have fun with it, man. That's the point, right? That's why we do music. We do music. We play music. I said this before. It's not my original quote, but from Victor Wooten. It's like we play music. We have fun when we play, right? So it should be a fun process. You should enjoy when you create music. It should be something that makes you smile, not all the time, so intense. It should be something that you enjoy when you do create music. All right, so moving on with this talk, but real quick, my good friend Charles says, morning fam. I would ask you how you were, but the groove just lets me know you're doing just fine. I'm good, man. I am good. I have no complaints. I'm very, very grateful. Absolutely grateful this morning. What was that? We Them Boys says, I still play notes. I haven't gotten to the point where I can play what I hear, what I want. He said, what I want / hear. I got you. Well, it's a process. Like I tell all my students, I'm not sure what your name is, We Them Boys, but what I tell all my students, and a couple of my students are on here, it's a process. And I haven't always been able to just sit down and play everything I hear. And so I don't want to lead you guys to believe that it's like, oh yeah, man, you can, in 2 weeks, you should be doing all this, or in 2 months, or even 2 years. This has been a long pursuit for me to be able to get to the point where I can freely express what I'm hearing. And I still haven't gotten there yet. Believe it or not, there are a lot of things I want to play and I still can't play. So there's an ongoing pursuit. It's almost like chasing your shadow, so to speak. It's like, depending on where the sun is, it's going to always be out in front of you. So you're chasing that image, that idea of what you want to be, what you want to become. whether it's a player or whether it's as an individual, you're always chasing it. But that's the fun part about it. It's like you never quite get there, but you're always learning stuff along the way that keeps you interested in the chase. It's always something new. It should be. It's always something new. It's always something exciting. It can at times be something that's intimidating, which at the same time should motivate you to want to push and grow a little bit more and go a little bit harder. Let me see here. Lord Bay says, learn as watch your videos. Thank you for watching, man. Greetings from Bosnia. Goran, good morning to you. Looking forward to meeting with a couple of members of the worship band tonight for the first time in what seems ages, getting the MTV Kingston out for the first time in a while. That's awesome, man. Glad to see some of you guys are, getting the opportunity to play, because a lot of people aren't, and I know, how difficult that is. I had a gig probably about 3 weeks ago or so that I was able to get out and play with some really, really great musicians, and it felt good. It felt good to get out and just, have fun and play. It was like an instrumental jazz gig, and it felt really, really good to get out and play again. I haven't played one of those gigs in a long time, so to have an opportunity to be expressive and be before a live audience, it was really good. Granted, I played a few times in some different churches and that kind of thing, but it's a little different when you're getting out, and it's, for me personally, the instrumental part. Now, don't get me wrong, I love church, I love playing in church, but the instrumental part of it is definitely another side of the passion of mine as well, that I enjoy to be able to share and to interact with other musicians, and having those moments of improvisation where we're like creating stuff right there on the spot. I really, really enjoy that. So I hope that all of you get the opportunity to do that at some point if you haven't already, or get back to doing that. If you've been used to that and you haven't been able to do it because of what's going on. Corey says, I have a 4-string starter. Is there anything in the bass line you were playing where I would need the low B? I always like when you pull out the Jaguar. Yeah, it's to be honest, I would say the 5-string bass and 6-string and all other basses, it's a matter of preference. At the end of the day, it's a matter of preference. The playing that groove or any other groove, you can get away with it on the 4-string, of course, because all of the notes are there. They're just, you don't have the option of that lower register to grab, from that low B string, that low C. I'm playing this groove in, I think this is in E flat. So I have that option of playing that low, that low E flat, and then that low, I'm trying to think, on top of it, I got the B flat, right, the octave B flat. So I got the option of, if I tune down, I got the option of that low octave B flat normally when I'm playing tune down, when I'm tuned standard here. So like, I got that, I can play my E flat right there as opposed to having to be up here playing my E flat. So I got that, see what I'm saying? So I have the option of that low E flat is what I meant to say when I'm playing that particular groove that wouldn't be available to me, the low octave E flat, if I were playing a 4-string, unless I tune down. So there are some perks and some benefits to having that lower string and a lower register, especially, I will say, especially when it comes to gospel music, because for some reason a lot of the gospel songs are recorded or played or written in flat keys. And so having access to that low B string, especially if you tune flat, if you tune the B flat, and a lot of us gospel players do that, tune the B flat, simply because we want access to that low B flat. A lot of cats now have been tuning down to A. That's a little bit, much for me. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I have, no interest in doing it. But I like the sound that people get that tune down to that low A. But you just better know where you're at. We were talking about no man's land earlier. So if you're lost in no man's land tuned standard, you're definitely gonna get lost in no man's land if you tune down to B flat or A and you haven't really learned the fretboard. So the important thing, if some of you are thinking or considering tuning down and access those lower notes, make sure you know your fretboard. The good thing for me is I was able to go back and forth. I say good thing because At times it was a struggle, but it helped me to really know my fretboard even more than I initially knew it. Just tuning down, because for a while, if you guys are not new to my channel, for a while I taught my lessons tuned half a step down, and I realized how confusing that was for a lot of people. So I started going back and forth with my tuning. And it was confusing at times, because I'm doing a lesson, and then I'll have to go play a session or a church service or something like that, and then I'm having to tune back, and sometimes my brain would try to remember, okay, I think I'm here, but it's like you really have to know the fretboard. And so it challenged me to really learn the fretboard in and out, and be really clear on where it is I'm playing at all times. And the other thing about that is me going back and forth from guitar that's tuned standard to the bass that's tuned flat. It was that brain, I had to stay on my toes, for lack of better words. I really had to stay on my toes. So, yeah. Floppy says, sadly, it's time to go again. Man, you got to get back to work. I appreciate you joining in, even for the little amount of time you're able to share with me, man. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out to join in. So, getting into this conversation, what's next? What's the next thing? I've been finding myself, as we're in the last, I would say the last quarter of the year, but we're literally in the last days of this calendar year. And I know I've been finding myself going really, really hard in the last part of this year, because my objective is to finish strong. I have some things that I'm trying to launch this month, as well as set myself up for next year. Like, start next year on a high note, like on a really, really high note. That way January is not dragging. I, really have a good grip on where it is I'm headed. I have a good trajectory of where it is I'm trying to go. So I'm doing things in the last quarter of the year, and I told my wife for the last few years, I'm like, you ever notice? I said, I get real productive towards the last quarter of the year for some reason. Not to say I haven't been productive all year, but I've noticed if you go back through some of the history of the stuff I've done, I've created a lot of stuff during like the last quarter of the year. I'm generally kind of going pretty hard. And I don't know if it's just my brain works better when I'm cold. I don't know. But I know, like, there are times of the year for me that times of the year that I produce, seems like I produce a little bit more. But what I've been working on this year is letting that be consistent all the way throughout the year, instead of having a certain time of year that I'm very, very productive. Being productive and stockpiling, if you will, compounding work, so that I could see the results when it's time for the results to happen. You got stuff that's growing up everywhere. It's almost like a gardener that does garden work. It's like they do all this stuff. They don't just plant one thing. They're planting, tomatoes. They're planting cabbages and green beans and all these different things, corn. Because when it's harvest time, you want to see all types of stuff come up. You want to see all types of vegetables. Nobody wants to eat the same thing every day. So you want to have options. So I think it's very important to, to go hard and to make sure you're doing more than one thing, so you can see that end result that you're hoping to see when it's all said and done. Gerald says, love listening to your groove this morning, giving me lots of ideas. The torture is I'm in my car on the way to work. Gerald, I know the pain, man. I know the pain of, riding down the road and you don't have an instrument close to you. One of the workarounds, of course, you probably can't do it now because you're listening to me, but one of the workarounds that I found for that is that good old voice recorder on the phone. Like, literally, whatever you're hearing in your mind, take that voice recorder out, record it. That way you don't lose the idea. I've been preaching this, man, for a long time. And if you follow me on Facebook or something like that, you've probably heard me say it more than once. Don't throw away your ideas. Don't throw away your ideas. And this is all tying into what I'm talking about. What's next? Many people run into this brick wall of creativity, especially us creatives. You can oftentimes, especially if you experience something that seems like a failure of an idea, you can run into this brick wall of creativeness like, man, I can't come up with anything. I can't think of anything. And most of the time, that's tied to a lack of support for what it is you've done, or a lack of what you perceive as success for the idea coming to fruition. It's like you had all this stuff in your mind, you put your best foot forward, you put it out there, and you didn't get the response you was looking for. So because of that, it's like, oh man, I don't want to do anything else. Your brain is subconsciously shut down. You guys can keep commenting. I'll come back and read the comments. But because of that, your brain starts to shut down and says, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel that hurt. I don't want to feel that rejection. So you might not have said it with your mouth, but subconsciously your brain is saying, I don't want to feel that anymore. And so you almost suppress any creativity that you may have. So the thing that you have to do in those moments that you are super creative, make sure you take full advantage of all of the ideas that are coming to you. One of the things that I've learned to do over the years is start writing stuff down. I write a lot of stuff down in my phone, but recently, trying to pick up some of this stuff, but recently I've started getting like little booklets and stuff like that, so I can jot down these ideas. It's something I learned from listening to like Jim Rohn. I started getting me little journals and booklets and stuff like that, so I can jot down my ideas, what I plan to do. I have on my phone, I said this a thousand times, I have a goals, dreams, reality list, and I list out things that I'm looking to accomplish, or some things I want, or some things I'm desiring for, and as they happen, I check them off. I just check them off. I literally write down everything I can think of. What's my plan moving forward? What's the ultimate goal for me? What's my ultimate vision? If I don't have one, I'm really working on, if you don't have one, you should be working on trying to form some type of goal, some type of vision, especially now that we're rapidly approaching 2021. Because given what's going on with, the climate of what's happening around the world, what if things don't go back to the way they were? You know what I'm saying? What if things don't go back to the way they were? What do you do? What's your plan? Do you have a just in case? I don't mean a backup plan, because let me say this. I'm really huge. Sorry about that. I'm really huge on not worrying too much about your plan B. Now, I was taught. I know that might make some people cringe. I was taught, just like most people, have a plan A, but have your backup plan just in case that plan A doesn't work. And as I started moving through my life, I started learning, like, wait a minute. If I'm going to have a backup plan, what's the point of going after this? If I'm going to go to college or whatever the path I choose to take to do this particular thing, yeah, there's a chance that, I want to be clear how I say this. There's always a chance that what you're pursuing might not work, but that doesn't mean what you're pursuing is not for you. If you know without a shadow of a doubt, that this thing that you're after, or this thing that you're passionate about, you want this, you want to do this, and you have the skills, the mindset, the will, the determination, all of the above to do it, well, it's possible. Now, on the flip side of that, some of you guys might have, I'm going to use this for an example. If you know you can't hold a tune in a bucket, the chances are you're probably not going to be a singer. You're not going to be a professional singer. People probably not going to be lining up to hear your concerts. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make this as black and white as possible. If you know that this is not your thing, then obviously you're pursuing a dead-end dream or a dead-end career, because you know that's not going to happen. I know I suck at sports. Do I have the ability to get better? Yes, I do have the ability to get better, but what are the chances of me becoming really, really, really good, like LeBron James level at sports? They're very low at this point. I knew that when I was younger. I was athletic to a degree, but for the most part, music is my thing. So I started, as I got older, I started making the main thing, not because and the other thing about it, I don't really care like about sports like that. Literally, I'm the worst sports fan on the planet. So the game is on, the Super Bowl, I could care less. Like I'm probably making some people offended with that, but I could care less. The playoffs, anything sports related, you know, every now and again I'll check out some stuff, some highlights, some reels. I'm inspired by watching other people every now and again, but I'm not a sports fan. I'm not a sports fan, and so the ambition to do anything in sports doesn't exist in me at all. So I'm not going to waste any time pursuing something that I know, number one, I have no interest in. Number two, I know I'm really no good at it. Regardless of it, if I can learn to do it a little bit or get pretty decent at it, I have no interest in it. But what I do have interest in is music. And I have interest in helping people. So now I have to figure out, how do I merge these two worlds together, because these are my passions. And sometimes you don't have to pursue, and there's another saying, you don't have to necessarily make a living out of your passion. It could just be something you're passionate about. Some of you guys like arts and crafts, but that don't mean you have to make a living out of it. But if it's something you're truly passionate about, it's something you possibly can make a living out of. If you're truly passionate about it, the thing about it is figuring out ways to use that thing to add value to people. And I think for most of us, that's the hard part, because as creatives, traditionally we haven't seen what we do up until recent, given like YouTube and stuff like that. We haven't seen the things that we're passionate about. We haven't seen people make a living off of it. We haven't seen people to be able to provide for their families. Most of us haven't seen that. So now we're in a world like, I'm gonna come back to those comments. But now we are in a world like, it's possible now. It's possible now thanks to what's being exposed to us. But you still have to make a plan, because it's still going to be difficult. I started this thought with saying, not focusing on your plan B. Focus on your plan A. Be willing to do a plan B if you have to. Now, I ain't saying you need to be trying to make sure that you got this. Like, I was literally taught, do this and go to school and do all this stuff, but make sure you have a backup plan. I get the idea of having a backup plan, but I'm like, I refuse to go and work this hard on something that I know I really, really want to do, and then I settle for something else because what I was trying to do doesn't seem like it works out. No, that means I need to find another route. It's still possible to get there. If this person got there, if that person got there, it's possible for me to get there. It's just maybe I need to find a different route. Maybe the traditional route of going and touring for this big artist and all that might not be the way, I like that. Charles says plan B, work harder at plan A. You know what I'm saying? It's like, maybe this particular route might not be the one that I need to take, because that's not the route for me. Maybe it's not for me to play for Beyonce or somebody like that. Maybe it's not for me to play for some big mega church. Maybe it's not for me to be the first call studio musician and that kind of thing. But that doesn't mean I can't have a successful career at what it is I'm trying to do as a musician. No, I just need to find another way to do it. I need to find another means of adding value to people. And there's so many opportunities out here. And the thing I love about it, it's what comes natural to you that you're going to be, in my opinion, the most successful at. It's what comes natural to you. It's the thing that comes natural to you. I have a natural thing for sharing information. I have a natural thing for talking. It's funny, I used to get in trouble in school for talking. Just talking. Get in trouble for it. But a lot of the things that when you're younger are deemed as something that could be a hindrance to you might actually be your gift in disguise. So something being fidgety or whatever, like not able to sit still, well, you might be a multitasker. You might be a person that likes to get a lot of stuff done. You might be a person who's very goal-oriented, and when somebody makes you sit down and sit still and you're not feeling like you're productive, you get antsy. So that's not necessarily something that's bad or something that's wrong, that means that's a gift of yours that might need to be developed. You may need to develop that gift. You might just need to develop that gift. So I challenge some of you guys that's watching this morning as we think about this idea of what's next. Go back and revisit some of that stuff that you might have got in trouble for when you were younger. Or some of that stuff that people told you, man, you need to stop doing that. You do that too much. You need to go back and revisit some of that stuff, because some of that stuff might actually be some diamonds up under that coal or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? It might be something really valuable. It might be some gold in that dust that everybody else thinks is dust. And what do? You gotta filter it out. You gotta wash it off and filter it out and see what's really up under there, because some of you have some gifts, some talents, some skills, some abilities. So what if 2021 doesn't go back to the way that it used to be? It might be a prime opportunity for you to really go in there and see what gold you got. It might be the time for you to see what goals you really have and make some goals to make sure you see that goal manifest into what it really is. That's what's next. Finding the better you, finding more ways to be effective, finding more ways to be efficient, making a plan, sticking to that plan. You might have to readjust some things, you know, going back to plan A, what Charles said. Your plan B is to make sure you work harder on your plan A. The thing that I've learned about my plan A over the years, because I tried plan B. And this is another reason why I'm so adamant about, you know, sticking to your plan A. When it's for you, it's almost like if you want to get out of it, you can't. When it's really for you to do. I tried some plan Bs, and man, did they blow up in my face. Oh my goodness, it was terrible. Several times. Like me trying to do plan B after plan A looked like it wasn't working. And it was like everything, all roads were leading back to plan A. Nope, go back to what you were doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So some of you guys keep experiencing failure, what you perceive as failure after failure after failure, because you've been trying to do some other things, because this other thing that you were passionate about seemed like it wasn't working out. So you didn't jump from job to job to job to job, from opportunity to opportunity, and none of it is panning out for you. Maybe that's a sign that you were supposed to still be on plan A, and you need to find an alternate route, how to get there, how to land it, how to nail it, because this other stuff you're trying is not truly you. So it works for a little while, you make a little bit of money off of it, and then it falls. Or you might get in there and it falls as soon as you get in. That's normally my experience. I get it as soon as I put my hands on it, that junk falls to the ground. So it lets me know I need to be back on plan A, because when I'm doing my plan A, it's smooth. It's like butter. It's hard. Now let me say this. Normally when I'm doing plan A, it's very difficult, and I have to work really, really hard to see minimum results. But the results are long lasting, and they grow and they compound. I'll make sure I throw that out there. On my plan A, I've had to work really, 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 really hard, and it had the perception that it was not working when I was doing it. But after time, after maturity date, stuff started to happen, and the things that I had put in the ground, they started coming up, like that Chinese bamboo tree. For years, it looks like there was nothing happening. But after a while, you come to find out that, wow, that stuff that I did 3-4 years ago is still relevant. And people are still paying attention to that. And matter of fact, some of the people that I was trying to get the attention of 5-6 years ago ran up on this thing that I did, just working what I do, and they started pursuing me. The things that I was after started running after me because I stayed consistent with what it is I was supposed to be doing. So this might be a word of an encouragement to somebody. Pursue plan A. Find different ways to go after it. And some of the things you're pursuing might actually start pursuing you when you're persistent. All right? So I'm going to read through some of these comments real fast. Let's see here. Okay. Imagine my surprise when I learned that I needed to work on my rhythm to improve my playing, working on it even without my bass being extremely beneficial already. Uh, I'm even more amazed at your gift now. Wow, thank you for sharing it. I know, I know the feeling. I had to really work on my rhythm early parts, even my YouTube time. There was some things I was trying to work on when I was trying to learn to better play my ghost notes and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. Trust me, I get it. Tiffany says my favorite quote from your book: "Just start writing. You gotta go for it." You said I've learned that creativity is about timing. It doesn't always come to me when I plan to sit down and write it. The voice memos are saving grace as well. Listen, the voice memos is where it's at. Trust me, I've written half of a whole album off voice memos. As a matter of fact, I normally do devotion with my kids in the morning. So probably when I leave, well, they'll be in school this morning, but normally every morning except Tuesday, I normally go in there and we do devotion and I play the guitar with them and we sing and that kind of thing. And so after I finished devotion yesterday, I had this little thing in my head, this little melody in my head. So I started playing the guitar, and it just came to me. So immediately I pulled out my phone, pulled out the voice memo, and just recorded the quick idea down. And I came out here, and I tracked it. I laid it down. I got the idea out, and it turned into something really, really good. I was like, wow, But that's not the first time that's happened for me. So yeah, those voice memos is where it's at. So if y'all are not taking advantage of that stuff, do it. And the other point I was making, do not waste your ideas. When you capture, whether it's musical or whether it's something you're jotting down when you're writing in your little booklets, your journals or whatever, when you write those things down, revisit them. Keep looking at them and figure out a plan how to make that stuff come about. You know what I'm saying? Write that stuff down, because when you start writing it down and you start making a plan of action, now when you make your plan, all these other things that you've written down, when you're trying, I put it like this has been my experience. When I write this stuff down, all these other ideas that I had previously, I'm able to go back and grab some of those ideas and put them into this new plan that I have. So now I'm not sitting scratching my head trying to come up with stuff. I got all this stuff that's stockpiled from way back that I've been thinking about. So now I can add all of this stuff together, or let's put it in the context of songs. Now that I'm trying to put something together, put a record together, put some songs for submission or something like that, I have all of these songs that I recorded over time that I didn't do nothing with, or all these ideas that I didn't finish. Now I can go back and grab those ideas with a fresh brain, or a fresh palette, or a fresh perspective, and that idea that sounded like trash, instead of deleting it 2 years ago, now it's a dope song. So I'm huge on telling you guys, even if that idea, when you get that idea, when you start trying to develop it and it doesn't sound like it's coming together good, like, don't trash it. Do not delete it. Just save that session or save that idea, tuck it away. And on a later date, when it's time, like Tiffany said about timing, when it's time, revisit it. You'll know when it's time, because it'll just come out of nowhere. You'll be going through your notes or going through your stuff. That's why it's important to revisit this stuff, because you'll be just going through your stuff and it's like, what is it? You'll be my experience, I've been forgotten about some of this stuff. I click on it and I listen to it like, yo, this kind of dope. And so now all of these new ideas start flooding in. I've had time for my ears to mature, to be exposed to some other stuff, to hear some other music, to have some other life experiences. So now when I listen to this, it got a different light on it. It's like something completely different than when I initially heard it. So that's why you have to capture this stuff. Some of the ideas that come to you are like premature. Your ideas, some of the ones that are coming to you, this is the best way I can say it, some of your ideas are premature. They need to be nurtured and they need to be developed. They're not ready to yet, be put out as a record or be put on in the marketplace just yet. The idea is premature. You might not have the means to get this idea done, but still write it down. Still write out a plan for it. Because who's to say, as a business or as an entrepreneur, you find the right person. If you sat down and really wrote down this idea and wrote down a plan as to, if I had this budget, this is how I would do it. Now all of a sudden, a year later, 6 months later, 3 months later, you run into this person who happens to be an investor looking for a great idea to invest in, and you just happen to have one. Oh, you're talking about such and such. Oh man, I talked about that a year ago. I wrote that down. I got it all laid out. So now you have an investor that's ready to go with your idea that you didn't throw away. But think about the fact that if you had threw that idea away thinking, man, I don't have no money for that, I'll never be able to do that. With that negative thinking, it's gone. That opportunity, you just missed it. You just missed that complete opportunity just having a negative mindset. So let's go back to some comments. All right, so Lord Bard says, so when play on Sunday Glorious Day, what's easy way to play that song, brother? I have to cover that in another, I have to, as a matter of fact, if you, I guess, played the congregational, if you've done the congregational songs course, I think I break that down, that particular song in the congregational. If you're talking about the church song Glorious Day, I have that in the congregational songs course on my website and JermaineMorgan.net. I'm trying to scramble for my ideas here. All right, so check that out, Lord Bard, if I'm saying that correctly. JermaineMorgan.net, the congregational songs course. I actually have, that, if you're still here. Okay, so I'm reading through the comments. Musictron, what's up, man? He said, you talking good, sir. Will we get a Kali studio monitor review? Listen, they're good, man. I won't do a review on them, probably not official. Yeah, they'll have to they're gonna have to throw me something to sweeten the deal up for me to do a review. But I'll tell you now, there's some solid speakers, and I think he's talking about the studio monitors that I'm using, the Kali Audio. So there's some solid speakers, and they have a really, really good true to sound reference when you're listening to it. As opposed to the KRKs I was using, the KRKs, I noticed after getting these, my KRKs were very bass heavy. So they weren't true to sound. So you would mix them thinking that you have a lot of bass in the track, and then you get them somewhere else in your car or listen to them in another place and notice that it's missing a lot of bass, because they're naturally, when you're listening to them in the studio, they feel good because they're giving you all the bass you want, but they're not necessarily true to sound. So yeah, I got these, and they're a little bit more true as it relates to giving you an overall balanced sound, and I enjoy them. So that's your review right there. All right, so go back here. It's funny when sopranos like me are trying to sing the bass part in voice memos, but who else will hear it? Exactly, ain't nobody gonna be listening to that but you. So you just need to have something so you can reference and go back and get the idea down from. I learned that praying things to go back to something familiar was stifling what God had for me further down the road. Now I hunker down, pay attention to what he shows me, and go for it. Absolutely. It goes back to what I was saying. What if 2021, what if we don't get back to normal? So many people are so ready to get back to normal, but I don't think normal exists anymore. What we have considered normal, that's the whole point. I don't think normal exists anymore. We're operating in a completely new normal, and if you're not willing to adjust with the times and what happens, you will be left behind in terms of, as the world moves forward. If you're still trying to get back to something, you won't be able to get back to it, because think about it, your normal is based on your perception. People who have lost loved ones during this time, people who have lost their jobs during this time, people who have lost so much during this time, normal doesn't exist for them anymore. So even if the world goes back to what it was, that idea of normal, that means only a percentage of the population would experience that normal. And the other people, even though it's the same thing, it's not the same. Those people aren't there anymore. This situation is not the same anymore. It's kind of like, most of you guys know, I used to play, if you know who I am, beyond the bass lessons. I used to play at a mega church in Atlanta, New Birth. Bishop Eddie Long, I was the bass player there for 12 years. And so he passed within like my, like my 9th or 10th year of being there. He passed away. And what had been normal for me in terms of that operation of that place, when I got there, like this church was the number one, whatever. I mean, that's one of the things that altered the normal. There are several other instances, but that particular thing, when him passing away, that what was normal was completely altered forever. It would never go back to that sense of being normal. What was the normal work environment for me? What was the normal, flow of things, the normal sound that we had? All of those things over time changed. So even though the building remains, that reference point for me as of it being normal, it will never be the same. Because, you take away all of these different elements, you still have the shell there, but it's just like an egg. There's nothing in the shell anymore. So you just have a broken, abandoned shell. It's still the same thing, but it'll never be the same. And I think that's what 2020 has done for a lot of people. It's been, the birthing of something. The shell is broken. You know what I'm saying? As the little birdie, it can't go back and try to wrap itself back up in the shell and try to stay warm and let mama sit on top of that. That's over with. So your sense of normal, it's over. You have to develop a new normal. If the little bird tries to go back and get in the egg and try to be safe in that little shell, it will die. It will die in what used to be. Number one, because it's outgrown that shell. That's the reason why the shell cracked in the first place, because the bird had got too big for that shell. You had outgrown this particular environment, or it's something that you needed to outgrow. I'm not saying that what happened in 2020 has, it needed to happen. I'm not saying that, but apparently change needed to come. So what you had known to be normal all these years needed to be adjusted, needed to be shifted. So now, how will you respond to it? Will you go back and try to pick up these eggshells and try to put them all over you and put some super glue on it or some duct tape, try to tape yourself up in it? Is that what you will do? Or will you figure out a way to create a new normal? Because normal is always changing. Normal is relative to the season that you're in. I'm like Music for Jesus. Tanya said earlier, trying to pray for things to go back or go back to a certain point in my life, I have absolutely no interest in it, because as good as some of those times were, there are some areas of growth that I've experienced over the years that I wouldn't trade for a more comfortable situation. So I don't want to be comfortable anymore. I'm learning how to be comfortably uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. I'm learning over time how to be more and more uncomfortable with, the situations that I find myself in. I'm learning how to be more and more comfortable with them and being ready to change at any moment. So I encourage you to do the same. I encourage you guys to do the same as you move forward. All right, so let's go here. Read a few more of these comments. Antonio, good morning to you, man. Morning devotion with your kids is beautiful. Go, Dad. Listen, we have to do it. It's something we put in play. We have to do it. Tron, no problem, man. Roland says, what's up, bro? Love your content. I really appreciate you watching. So, listen, that's really all I have for today, y'all. I just wanted to get on here and share a little bit with you. And as we did some grooving. And hopefully I gave you guys some motivation, some things that you can take with you and move forward with, man. And not get stuck. Don't get stuck in the rut. Finish this year out strong. I'll say it for the remainder of these lives. Oh yeah, another giveaway. And I got an email. My winner, I forgot the name. I was supposed to write the name down. It's been so hectic. I haven't forgot about it. I said at the end of each live, I'm going to give away a book for the month of December. I got to, like I said, send off the book for my winner for last week. I did get the emails. I haven't had a chance to respond, but I did get them, and I'm going to send you a book. So this week, all you have to do to win your book is, if you don't have it, send me an email at jermaine@jermainemorgan.net. Simply tell me why you want it. It's simple. If you don't have it, simply tell me why you want it. If you want it so you can bless somebody with it, or you want it because you can't afford it, whatever the case may be, send me your reason, and I'm going to pick somebody from whoever I decide. I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to send in the U.S. Let me make sure I make that clear. In the U.S., I'm going to send you this book. If you are a resident of the United States, I'm going to ship this book to you. Your free copy, signed. I'll get this over to you, and yeah, and I'll pick the closing time, or the cutoff date to send your email over to me is Thursday. The cutoff date is Thursday, by the end of the day on Thursday. So for the people that have already sent the emails from last week, I did get them. And like I said, it's been hectic, so I didn't ignore you. I just haven't had a chance to respond. So be sure to send me an email. Again, Jermaine@jermainemorgan.net. If you want your copy of 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician. If you want to just purchase this book, it's available on Amazon. It's now finally available on Audible or iTunes. You can get the audio version now on iTunes. It took long enough, right? So there on my website as well, you can go to jermainemorgan.net to the shop page. It's available. You can get the signed copy as well as the PDF version on my website as well. So be sure to grab your copy of this book. I appreciate everybody who supported it so far. It covers some of the ideas that I've been talking about today, with being resourceful and that kind of thing. If you're looking for some other ways to pursue your musical journey, or that kind of thing, it gives you some ideas and some things you can kind of think of. So anyway, thank you guys. I got to jump off. I appreciate everybody who stayed around all the way to the end. Be sure to send me an email. Once again, Jermaine@jermainemorgan.net. Simply let me know why you want the book, and I'll pick a winner. Email that winner. I'll try to remember next time to announce the names of the winner. It completely slipped my mind. I apologize for that. But nonetheless, you're still going to get your book. All right, guys, I am out. If there be no other comments, I appreciate you for hanging out with me. And you can comment in the replay, and be sure to give this some thumbs up. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. I'm out of here. Peace.